Hey there, guys. I wanted to make this quick video because I'm getting a lot of questions from people in reference to what AI tool should they use versus what AI tool they shouldn't. And so I feel as though that I should address this question now in hopes that as you guys are continuing with your businesses, your journeys, and making a difference and a positive impact in the world, not just financial, that you can rest assured that you have this part taken care of. So first off, for those of you who don't know, my name is Leland Baptist. Um, in reference to being like an entrepreneur, business owner, investor, etc., I'm also a systems architect, which just means that I help people by creating systems and helping them with their business to generate leads, donors, retention, all that fun stuff. So the question that I'm getting a lot right now is, should I use? And this sounds simple, but it's should I use ChatGPT versus Gemini, or versus Claude, or versus anything else? The truth is that you want to use a learning language model that is going to best fit your style and best fit your accessibility. Okay, so with no matter what language learning model that you're using, at the moment, at this moment at least, based on statistics, both ChatGPT and Gemini are kind of head and head or head and shoulders, right? So they're constantly going back and forth as far as which one is updating quicker, which one is the one to have less downtime, which one is able to give you more curated responses based on your inputs. Okay. Now, with that being said, you want to use a learning language model that is best going to suit your style. The cool thing with all these LLMs is that you can actually change. You can change what type of outputs that you receive from it based on how willing you are to be very specific on your inputs. Okay, so one of the things that I enjoy with both ChatGPT and Gemini is that you can feed both of them documents, transcripts, etc. And so when you're asking specific questions, it becomes more and more of a zoned in expert on that particular thing, right? So within ChatGPT, there's areas where you can install what's called projects, and you can dump in everything in reference to your particular project on that left hand menu bar, and that information primarily is going to stay within that project, right? So if you're working on a particular project for yourself and you don't want that to cross intermingle or overspill into other things that you're doing, you're able to dump that right into the project. And so you can do the same thing within Gemini as well, based on like a channel or a separate chat, etc. Okay, but when you're able to put these things into these little small buckets, you can also have a prompt that trains it on what type of information you want it to access, how you want it to respond, how you want the framework to properly be inputted and outputted, and then also if there's any particular action steps. And in other videos, I'll go through examples on how you can do that fairly well to where you can make sure that you're getting something that's customized to what you're doing for either your business or even within a position that you're working within an organization. Okay? Or maybe you're just doing it just to, make life more efficient. Either way is fine. All right? So to answer your question, do you only have to use Claude? Do you only have to use ChatGPT? Do you only have to use Gemini? The answer to that is no. I do suggest that if you're truly going to fully use any of these LLMs to the best of your ability, that you want to make sure that you have the ability to actually integrate that particular LLM across other systems. Okay. So there are ways to integrate ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and whatever else. There's ways to integrate that LLM throughout other forms of communication. Because keep in mind, if you're not using them to, let's say, create a commercial for you, or you're not using them to make a flyer, make a video, make social media posts, that kind of thing. So if it's not a visual component to it, then what you're really looking at is you're looking at a LLM who is collecting data, and then it's just rearranging it based on descriptions and based on tones and based on information that it knows either about you, your prospect, or your target market. And so it's basically able to do like wordsmithing, right? And so the more information you can feed it and give it almost like a shortened feedback loop, the better it's able to customize and curate that information to you. Now, one last thing before we wrap this up. You want to be careful with all LLMs, particularly, I'm going to just say all of them, because be careful that the LLM is not just feeding or telling you things to ensure that you're going to continue to use it, right? A good example of this is if you've ever used any of the LLMs and you asked it, you said, hey, I have the idea to fly to Pluto, right? The LLM in some shape or form is going to try to tell you that, you know what, that's a good idea. You should probably stay with it. And there's only a few things you got to do or figure out to make this happen, right? Instead of it just telling you, hey, that's a dumb idea, it's not going to tell you it's not going to tell you that it's a dumb idea. What it is going to tell you is that, hey, you can do this, you make this work, etc. And the reason that it's going to be agreeable or amicable to your particular request or your question has nothing to do with its probability of it happening. It has nothing to do with it actually being a good idea. It has more of it being with the user experience and making sure that you as the user stay on that platform longer so that it can gather more data, so that it can actually better, more or less, create retention, so that retention can then be reported back to the storage places for that LLM based on a lot of other data points, okay? So be careful that when you're talking to ChatGPT, don't talk to ChatGPT as if it's your advisor. Talk to ChatGPT, talk to Gemini, talk to Claude as if it's a junior manager, or almost as if it's an intern that works for your company, right? Or almost as if it's a subordinate within your company that works underneath you, right? Because that LLM is going to be agreeable to 99% of the things that you're going to request. And so be mindful of that, all right? With that being said, summing this up, does it matter which LLM you use? The short answer is no. Long answer is no. Just make sure that you're able to be consistent with that LLM across other platforms so that you can gather more and more data. Make sure you can curate it. You can give it the right frameworks, give it the right prompts so that it can properly have both the imports and the exports necessary. And make sure that you are not someone that is fooled under the guise of it being agreeable to whatever you are suggesting and talking about. All right. With that being said, I hope this helps you. And if you guys want an actual walkthrough video on how to frame your LLM properly so that you can use it, or better yet, which LLMs would you use for this type of project versus another, I will be happy to make that video. Just let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for your time. God bless.